All right, welcome back, everyone. We have Mr. Embodiment and Mr. Trauma Trainer and Coach. Mark has worked, for those of you who don't know, he's worked in a number of war zones. He was in the Ukraine in bomb shelters, training people how to deal with trauma. And now the group that he's trained has even gotten to the stage of training the next lot. So he has a fair bit of experience with all things trauma, has worked with war veterans, has been, as I said, in war zones. He has been teaching embodiment for a number of years, has been continuously learning and coaching, and he's got an interesting take. I love your take, Mark, about the superpowers. He's fun. He makes trauma kind of digestible and puts it in good chunks. So if you
All
want to
right.
make friends, you still have time to share this event. We still have one more day and you get the free replays. It's not too late to spread the word.
Thank you. Thank you, Virginia. Who has told one of their friends about this event? I will sparkle pixie dust. Thank you very much. Pixie dust on your head for those who have, and who selfishly kept it to themselves despite attending and loving it. Rubbish, Jim. Rubbish. Give yourself a slap. Give yourself some trauma for that one. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're enjoying it, tell your friends, right? If there's people who will enjoy it. All right, let's take a couple of deep breaths all together. I've spent my day at hospital getting diagnosed with rare genetic disorders, having my blood taken and my eyes prodded. And it's been a hell of a day. So you're with me on this one. We're all in it together. Let's take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Ah. And again. 1, 2, 3. Ah. One last one. Breathing in the good stuff, letting out all the bullshit. Ah. All right. I needed that. That was for me. Maybe for you too. Welcome, everyone. This is a genuinely original session. I think almost no one is talking about this topic. We're going to be looking at the relationship between trauma and marketing, trauma and money, trauma and marketing more specifically. Why are you here? Is it because you've got an issue with this because you're a hippie and you've figured out something's up? Nod loudly. Who's rubbish at marketing? Give me a nod if that's you. Who's kind of getting better but is still not amazing? It's probably me. Yeah. Tim, you're pretty good, aren't you? So here's what I would say. That's normal. Only psychopaths and Americans are good at marketing. Okay. So the idea of promoting yourself is just not normal in most cultures, but you're probably pretty good at promoting other people. If I said why is your best friend sexy, awesome, and cool, you'd probably be able to tell me. All right. But if I said, all right, describe all the ways you're sexy or awesome and cool, clearly if you're British, you might go, oh, I can't, oh, I got, that's normal. All right. So I just want to fact normalize being rubbish at marketing. We live in this sort of weird capitalist system where we're all supposed to be merchant class, kind of awesome at that. And not everybody is. Most people aren't. In fact, however, trauma can make that worse. I have got some treats for you today. We're going to look at the relationship between these two things. I think this will be genuinely new to the vast majority of you, if not all of you. What do you want to get from this? Stick it in the chat. What do you want to get? Millions of pounds. I want a Lamborghini like Andrew Tate. What do you want? To be a bit less rubbish at marketing, to realize your hang-ups maybe about marketing while you're sticking that on. I've got slides. Yes, I made some slides. Came back from hospital and made slides just for you guys. What do you think the connection is? What do you think? Let's hear your opinions first. Why would I do a topic on this? What is the connection between trauma and marketing? What do you think? Let's hear your random thoughts. This is pretty leading edge stuff. So I might well add your thoughts to my presentation for next time. More understanding? Fair enough. What do you think? Low self-esteem. Yes, Dolly, we're definitely going to talk about that. Making money out of other people's grief. You're worried about that. Actually, all money is made by fixing people's problems, really. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like people come to you to give you money because they have a problem, right? Trauma, vulnerable, yeah, for sure. Oh, I should have had a slide on that, Tim. I teach that. Didn't forgot that slide. A finance mindset, absolutely. Coach Wu, always wise. Always happy to see you. Relating, trauma impacts relating. Yeah, that's a really nice way to say it, Virginia. Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Great. Distorted self. Exactly. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Just gonna move that out of the way. So here's a few thoughts. And it's very much just like take it or leave it, see what you think. I think some of it will be useful for everyone. I'm going to cover about 4 or 5 angles. Often people think of sort of business people as bad. This was spray painted in Brighton outside my house when I lived there. My experience is business people can be good and bad. Marketing can be done in what I call a Jedi and a Sith way. So it can be done in a way that's sort of, wholesome and good and nice. And I'm going to talk about trauma sensitive marketing. I invented that term later on as well. Obviously, marketing can be done in a way that's just unethical, lying, unpleasant. I'm not denying that at all. But let's not use that as an excuse not to tell people how we can help them, because that is literally the purest definition of marketing I know. Telling people how we can help them. Yeah, or letting people who want to buy our services find us. That would be another way of saying it. Yeah, it's definitely not putting yourself out there. Please ban that phrase from your vocabulary. It's a scary phrase, particularly if you have trauma. So we tend to think of money as related to power, right? So what does that have to do with trauma? There's a question for you. Yeah. So most of the time when people have trauma, it's because someone had power over them, right? So the idea of power can be itself can be made bad. Oh, what's going on? Computer's doing funny things. Yeah.
Your
So I've got a bit.
computer is traumatized, Mark.
It is. I've got a traumatized computer. I think it's because I've got too many things happening. Let's just do it from there. It's probably going to be easier. Yes. So if you imagine most people who've been traumatized, it was by something or usually someone more powerful than them. Think adult child or in a war or something like that. Unfortunately, that could mean we associate the idea of power only with abuse, right? Rather than with something that could be used for good or bad. This can create a whole psychology. Nietzsche called this slave morality, a compensatory morality. Like, I might not be powerful, but at least I'm a good person. Here's the problem. If you're defining goodness by powerlessness, no one on the woke left would ever do that, I'm sure. If you define goodness by powerlessness, you make yourself a choice between either I'm powerless and good, yeah, or I'm powerful and bad. And people will choose the former. They'll choose, I'd rather be powerless, i.e., broke, skin, having no money, because that means I'm a good person. So this is going right to the core of, as I said, what Nietzsche called slave morality. Yeah, so it's pretty deep. We're already gone into sort of deep 19th century philosophy. Another way of thinking about this could be, is marketing as self-care? Is this a new idea to anyone? Let's do a little bit of self-care pose. It's one of the embodied poses we use. Give yourself a hug. And I want you to ask yourself, how do you abuse yourself with money or with your business? It's kind of a tough question, so feel free not to go there if you don't want to. Is there a way? Now, of course, we all have different situations, right? I'm not saying if someone's poor, if they live in Sudan, it's their fault, or, had really tough disabilities or whatever it is. But we have a certain amount of choice and action, right? We're not just total victims in life. So is there anything you're doing around money or marketing, which actually is a form of self-abuse? And you can ask yourself, is there anything I could be doing which would be a form of self-care? Seeing, me making money for myself and my company. We sell good courses. The course we're doing coming out is genuinely a good course. I believe in it. I've got a relevant experience. I'm pretty confident I can help people, but I'm also taking care of myself. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Jackets like this don't come cheap. Do you know what I mean? One of my Ukrainian friends bought this for me, and then I bought it. I chose it for me. Then I paid for it. It's not cheap having Ukrainian friends choose your clothes. It's also, care for my company and people who work for me to make sure they get paid. That's important as well. But it's this self-care. And I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not ashamed that I'm looking after myself with my business. So we do free events, but we don't give away everything for free, right? If we did, we wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to pay the rent. Wouldn't be able to eat steak tonight, whatever it is. I wouldn't be able to take care of myself in the system we're in. And maybe there are, more ideal systems. I hope perhaps that is the case one day. But for now, it's part of self-care. It's pretty radical, huh? What I'm saying. What do you think? Marketing is self-care. How's that idea land? And this can be a little bit painful for people to realize that some of their poverty is their fault. Yeah. Not all of it all the time, and people in all circumstances. Just to be clear, there are people who have really been screwed over. And I lived in Ethiopia, right? I've lived in the slums of Brazil. I have been around the poorest people on the planet with the least education and the least opportunities. And this would certainly be a different conversation with those people. But assuming you're sort of, relatively healthy, relatively educated, in the Western world, some percentage of your financial situation is on you. Is that fair to say? Some of it's on the system and capitalism and all these other things that exist. I'm not saying that don't exist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, this separation, when I have mentees and I teach them about like Jedi versus Sith marketing, that separation's really helpful because you can say, hey, I don't want to do this. That's against my values, but I could do this. Yeah, I could do this. So that separation is really important. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Yeah. Nice. It's quite profound actually where we're going. We're going into some, in sort of spiritual terms, like lower chakra survival level stuff, which of course is very connected to trauma. Yeah. So Jedi versus Sith, I'd mentioned some people think of money as safety, right? Think how connected to trauma that is. If I have money, I'm safe. So for them, it might be a sense of I've got to hoard money. Yeah, I've definitely seen that. Sometimes very wealthy people who still feel like they don't have enough. I know a guy who owns 2 ranches in California and won't buy you a coffee. Okay, because he just never feels like he has enough because that's his sense of safety is always to get more. And like with an addiction, it's you can't get enough of what you don't really need. Right? There's a black hole that can't be filled there. More common with my sort of nice hippie friends is this: they have either a sense of scarcity, there's not enough. It's actually very difficult to do marketing from a sense of scarcity. Yeah. So it can lead to being desperate, it can lead to being pushy, things I'll come to, but it's much easier to sell when you're doing well. Anyone notice that? Your business is going great. All of a sudden, you're very relaxed. Sales is very easy. It's very attractive to people. When it's not, it's really tough. Yeah. And the self-esteem issues here of I don't deserve good things. Think about trauma this way. The traumatized person, traumatized child, quite often tries to make sense of the world. If you just say the world is unfair and capricious and dangerous and just completely unpredictable, that's terrifying. It's actually it feels more safe to say I'm bad because that has more sanity, more structure, it's more understandable to say I'm bad rather than the world is just chaotic and crazy shit happens. Yeah. Makes sense? So often it's, internalized abuse. People will internalize whatever that thing is. And if they're abused by someone, they say, well, I must deserve it on some level. This is a very difficult thing to get past for trauma. So that self-esteem issue means, well, I don't deserve good things. Yeah. I actually think the narrative, it goes the other way of because you're worth it, I do deserve good things. That's equally unhelpful in marketing. Yeah, it's equally unhelpful to say I do deserve it. So you'll see a lot of the. I actually had interviewed a guest on sex yesterday, and she said everyone deserves good sex, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? I mean, you deserve it? Like it's just this kind of weird. Well, that doesn't help, right? If you go to your partner and be like, I demand good sex because I deserve it, that's just as unhelpful as I don't deserve good sex. Yeah, makes sense. And by the way, I'm going to keep switching between sex and money because, one, fun topics, and two, lots of parallels, actually, lots of parallels. Grasping can also be a state people get. And we talk a lot in trauma work about fight or flight. But if you're Buddhist, you understand as well as aversion, you have another side of things in our conditioning, which is grasping. And that tends to be the one people can have an aversive response to money. Like that's bad because otherwise I'm bad if I have it or I don't deserve it. Or they can have a grasping response. And that, again, is very unattractive. It's very unhelpful in marketing to be too acquisitive. Just makes sense. Like the grasping, my precious, I've got to have it. I must have the things. Yeah. People don't respond well to that. They don't respond well to that. And I'll come to a bit more to that later. Thank you, Virginia. Virginia's asking me to slow down, which is always welcome. Around marketing, which of these four do you have? Back to our very simple model. I know there's potentially more than four. Are you fighty? Are you constantly in a battle? That tends to be mine. Are you more like worried, constantly in scarcity, fearing it? Yeah, I can't do the marketing. I'm too scared to do the marketing. What will people think of me? Are you more in like people pleasing mode? Or are you more just frozen, like you can't go into action? You can't just fucking do the marketing. Yeah, that's the other Jedi, by the way. Just effing do it, Jedi, Jedi. Just effing do it. That's one of the things I say. One of my students said to me, Mark, what I learned about marketing from you was to do some. I thought, that's great. Good work. Yeah. But why don't people do it? Because they're in that freeze. Where do you think you tend to go with your marketing? Are you in fawn, trying to make friends with everyone rather than sell? Are you scared of it? Are you constantly fighting it like a war? I think freeze maybe is the most common. Or none of these. Are you the marketing ninja already? And you don't need this class. What's so funny is there's 86 people in this class. I had 186 in one of the classes yesterday. So many people don't even dare show up to any conversation about money. Yeah, don't think the people who aren't here are like, yeah, they're just like rolling in it. You know, they're at home, they're on yachts with like models and just like, whoa, bling bling. It's like a rap video. That's not their life. Okay, they're the ones who are going to Fire Rhythms tonight, going, I'm gonna have the discount rate because I'm not got any money and I'm really ashamed of it. I once, right? They have three rates at Fire Rhythms in Brighton. They have like generosity rate, normal rate, and reduction rate. And they don't say specifically who it's for, so they just let you choose. And I once was talking to my friend works on the desk, right? So I was talking to her and I paid my sort of normal rate. And literally I was the only person all night who didn't pay the reduced rate. And I just thought, there's a problem here. There is a problem here. Yeah. In counterculture, particularly. And some of that was people a lot was people who genuinely didn't have much money, which is a problem. And a lot of it was people who were like, no, I just don't have very much. So they couldn't be even generous enough to play the middle rate, let alone the top rate. Okay, so this is where we're going for our marketing. And let's start breaking this down. Freeze is just inaction, right? Like I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'm just stuck. What do I do? And sometimes there's so many things to do. Do I do Instagram? Do I do Facebook? There's all these different things, right? So that can be a problem, the basic problem. Yeah. Pushiness and overcompensation. Sometimes Tad Hargrave, who does marketing for hippies, who I recommend, he calls this like, what does he call it? Inflation or like puffing yourself up. Yeah, this is one you will see in the States, actually. People who are a bit insecure. So they'll be like, yes, I'm amazing and everyone should go to me and I'm the best ever. I have these people on my podcast quite regularly and everybody can see through it. Yeah, that kind of overcompensating for the insecurity, for the feeling unsafe, right? That's what we're talking about. The trauma has created a sense of unsafety or a sense of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, and overcompensating for that. Anyone seen that in marketing? I used to do a lot of that. I think I do it far less now, but back in the day, that was probably my go-to. Yeah, puff yourself up out of insecurity. Yeah. Next one. So think about authority, right? You know, credible, competent, clear. That's what authority is. This is really helpful for marketing. I'd say comfortably, I'm an authority in embodied coaching. There's like me, Strozzi, maybe one or two other people in the world who have the same skill, that sort of level of experience. I'm just an authority in that, and I wear that well. So if I'm, telling you about Keck or telling you about my book, it's just I'm relaxed with it. I'm credible. That's an embodiment. And that embodiment doesn't just come from experience, it also comes from the fact I can own that. Yeah. Like, here's a little experiment for you. Everybody say out loud, I know lots about, and then tell me what you know lots about. So Virginia might say, I know lots about Greek paganism. Yeah. She actually knows loads. But can you own that authority? How was that? Did you find it easy or hard? And you might be conditioned in your culture, like in England, we're conditioned. In Holland or in Japan, they're conditioned. Tall poppies get cut down, they say in Holland. Yeah, the nail that sticks up gets hammered down, they say in Japan. So don't be too big for your boots, right? Very Irish as well. Ooh. Yeah, and again, trauma can mean I don't feel safe owning my power. It's back to power, really. I don't feel safe owning my authority. We have embodiment stuff that we use for that. Yeah. All right. Very difficult to find your expertise. So yeah. Gorillas, yeah. Okay, you're gonna find your own style with it for sure. Yeah. Okay, so I'll keep moving. Where are we at? Collapse. So far more common is just collapsing. This embodiment, like, I'm nothing, not puffing yourself up, but not owning the authority. And as I said, if you're in that state of scarcity, desperation just isn't attractive, is it? Please go on a date with me, Virginia. I haven't got laid in years, and I'm about desperate. I'll date anyone I need to. Please have a date with me. Like that is just not attractive in any sense of the word. And the same is true in sales, actually, right? Like, I hope my sales comes across as, come to our courses. We'd love to have you there. It's a good course, not like, please. Yeah, it's that's difficult when you've got a cash flow issue or companies in crisis. Last year we had a really difficult financial situation, and it was difficult to not go into neediness as an embodiment. And if your trauma pattern is I'm not good enough and I have to beg from everyone, then that's going to be even more difficult. Yeah. People pleasing. I wrote a whole book on this with Mira's help. If you haven't downloaded this, get yourself a copy. I think we do it free online. We're going to start selling it in Amazon next month as well. It's been incredibly popular. Who identifies as a people pleaser? Give us a wave. Some of you. Yeah. Give us a wave. It's about half the group sometimes. It was when I was teaching in Austria last week. Yeah. So again, if you're a people pleaser, you'll hear people say, oh, here's the price if you don't mind, and maybe a bit cheaper because I want you to like me. Yeah. Like, I give you an example. My 2-year mentoring program, the full package cost $9,000. And part of me like gasps when I say that because I was raised quite poor. And another part of me goes, well, that's what it is. And not everyone can afford it. And if people don't like me for saying that's okay. Right. Like, it's not for everyone. And, I know I give shitloads of value. So it's, from my point of view, I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. Actually, good exercise. Say the price of one of your services and notice if you stop breathing. So say the price of a massage or 10 coaching sessions or a workshop. Just say it out loud. I'll know you're doing it because your lips will move. Yeah, can you say it in a relaxed way? There's if the body is in that tight trauma response, it's very difficult. Here's one we can all practice: being seen. Everyone turn their camera on. Okay, being seen, and I want you to reach out, be the rock star, be Freddie Mercury at Wembley. Woo! Can you be seen? Okay, now I'm going to start critiquing you. Stay there. I'm going to start telling you what I don't like about your house and your clothes and your face. Okay, some of you have got noses bigger than anteaters. Some of you have got ears bigger than elephants. So can you go without aggression or collapse? Some of you have got into aggression. That doesn't help either. Okay, so if you're marketing, you need to be seen and visible, and you will be criticized. God, Virginia, some of the messages that you delete before sending to me, right? The amount of shit I get, it's unbelievable. Okay, relax, shake it off. So if the world is dangerous, will you want to be more visible? Yeah, I had someone on my podcast yesterday. It was very good, actually. She was great. And she was talking about gender stuff. And then she messaged me today saying, oh, can you just delete that thing that I said? Because it's too controversial and I don't want to get cancelled. And I'm like, the worst you're going to get is a mean tweet from someone in Portland. Your publisher's not going to cancel you. It's very reasonable what she said. It was very kind and well thought out. But she had this like contraction. And I get that quite a lot, particularly from women, actually more from women than men, is fear. What will other people think? Yeah. What will other people think? I don't have that one. One of my trauma superpowers, I had an alcoholic dad. I lived in a small village. And after a while, I just went, fuck what other people think. Like, I just don't give a fuck compared to most people. And that has been an absolute trauma superpower for me in marketing because I just keep putting stuff on the internet, keep social media and stuff, keep doing videos. Don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's just like I'm past that. And I would say if you can get to that point, you are free. Yeah, I'm not normal in that sense. Like most of my mentees are like, oh my God, what will people think? No one will see it. Don't worry. Yeah. Oh my God, someone disliked it. Yeah, people will dislike anything. I'll do a video and someone will be like, oh my God, I love your t-shirt. Anyone know what color this is? This is my gender test. Okay. Men, straight men. It's pinky, right? If anyone said salmon or coral, you are a girl or gay, and that's fine, but that is an official gender test. Anyway, someone will say on the video, they'll be like, oh, awful coral t-shirt. Someone else will be like, I love your coral t-shirt. It doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes I did a Facebook post. I'm off Facebook now, but it would just be like, I like cheese. And someone will be like, fuck you, how dare you like cheese? Are you saying that crackers aren't good? You're a racist. And I'm like, what the fuck? I just said I like cheese. You know, like, so you are going to get this, and you do need to be robust. And if you're in this traumatized state of the world is incredibly dangerous and other opinions really matter because I'm socially threatened by everyone. I do quite like cheese, by the way. If there are any cheese lovers, okay, no one get upset. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Any French people there? Timothy's quite close to France, aren't you? Good cheese in Guernsey, Tim. Good cheese, good cheese. Okay, so being seen, you know, this somatic stuff we do on this. Sometimes I pick people up, literally. It's any kind of pickup artistry I get to do in my old age on workshops and help them with this in various ways. That's Jamie, who's a toolkit. This is Embodied Toolkit. One of the things we teach on Keck, actually, if you want to train with us as a coach. Quick, shameless plug. Be shameless about your plugs. I'm giving you free stuff. I'm giving you totally original value today. Why would I have any shame in then saying, and if you want to buy our stuff, please do? Yeah. Can we trauma sensitive marketing? What would that look like, right? What would that even look like? Building relationship, taking the risk out for people. Doesn't mean we don't have some urgency. You know, we have early birds and things like that. People sometimes need a little bit of a nudge. You know, the birds sometimes need a nudge too. But yeah, I like to think our marketing is relatively trauma sensitive, and it's possible to make your marketing certainly more trauma informed. Just be less like, you know, fear driven. You know what I mean? Yeah. What about this? Can marketing be a form of healing? Crazy idea. Isn't that a crazy idea? Yeah. Can we actually deal with some of these issues of scarcity and self-esteem and being seen? Like I have had to over the years. Like it's a tantra marketing, I would say. It's a enforced, it's like it being an intimate relationship, right? It's like you're forced to grow and to heal. Just maybe just as a possibility, you know, as a possibility that marketing could be actually a force for good and a healing force. Something that actually helps you with your trauma. Obviously, you have to calibrate that, right? What's your window of tolerance? If people get shot to fame very quickly, it can be quite hard. I grew my business very gradually. I'm nearly 20 years in now. People are like, oh, you had an overnight success with the Embodiment Conference. Yeah. The second Embodiment Conference after 3 years of podcasting and 10 years of doing embodiment, you know, it was like not an overnight success. So I was lucky I had that gradual getting used to more exposure. Even then, it was still a shock, actually. Okay. So marketing is healing. Oh, we should mention superpowers. So we have a course coming up about this. What is your trauma superpower that helps with your marketing? So mine is giving less of a fuck than most people. Okay. Another one is my ADHD. I'm super creative. Like we have loads of good ideas. I put, you know, if I'm doing social media, I'm just like blah without thinking. Yeah, I'm not like spending an hour on each tweet. That's totally not my style. So what's your trauma superpower? So something you learn, and obviously we go into this in the course in much more detail, you learn from trauma that actually has made you good at marketing. If you're a people pleaser, for example, you may be very good at listening to feedback. You may be very sensitive to your customers. Most marketing, by the way, is listening. Yeah, I was listening to like one of the best salespeople in the world the other day, and he said most sales is listening. I'm like, well, I'm screwed then because I'm rubbish at listening. Yeah, some of you though are great at listening. Some of you are really good listeners. That is like absolutely what we try and do, right, Virginia? We're like, what does a customer want? What do they like? You know, maybe you've seen us like polling events. You know, the name of this event was polled, and we're like, what do people think? You know, now if you're, you know, got some trauma patterns, then it could be, hi, Yana's daughter, I think. Hello. Yeah, that's how I act when I see John. Yeah, so super creative, yeah. Sensitive, a lot of sensitive people. That is a trauma superpower. Yeah. Need for attention, right? Who's got that? Who's got a little bit of narcissism, not like clinical levels? Everyone who's chosen to be a teacher or coach or a trainer, put your fucking hand. Oh, excuse me, it's jumping. Put your hand up. Okay. Okay, yes, you've got a little bit of non-clinical narcissism. I'll say non-clinical because you seem nice. Okay, if you want to be seen and adored, please tell me I'm great. Okay, so that need for attention, even if it comes from trauma, can be if you're on the right side of that and it's not too egoic, it can be a superpower. Does that make sense? Yeah, there's so many other trauma superpowers we can go into, but there's some of the main ones. Okay, before Q&A, obviously, if you want to learn more about trauma superpowers, come on our course. I can see someone's already booked in, which is fab. I think it'll be a really nice little course. It's a really positive way of looking at trauma in a way that's less negative, and we can look at it in terms of how it can make us great and what we need to learn, rather than just, oh, I'm fucked up and I'm never going to get over it. And that's not helpful, I think, for people. So yeah, trauma superpowers course, if you can put that below. Let's end this. Does everyone know how to say Happy New Year in Cantonese or Mandarin? Okay, so do people know? Anyone done Chinese New Year? Do we have any Chinese people, Chinese ethnicity people? My friend George Cow is American Chinese. Any? Some of you are nodding. You don't look any. You don't look Chinese at all. Some of you are like, yeah, I'm Chinese. You don't look it, but all right. So Chinese people, when they have Happy New Year, what they say, they don't say Happy New Year. Do you know what they say? They say, I hope you get rich. Okay. So you can pretend to be someone. They say, I think it's Golong Fasai. I'm not very good at the Mandarin, but something like my girlfriend speaks Mandarin. I should call her in, but she's shy. Yes, Happy New Year. And it means I hope you get rich. And they do it in the spirit. If you imagine a rapper in a music video, okay, like making it rain. Do you know what making it rain is? It's when you have loads of money. You're like, yeah. So can everybody just look at the camera just for fun, okay? And we'll heal our trauma and just say, I hope you'll get rich. You don't have to use a Chinese accent because it sounds racist. I hope you'll get rich. Just like just well wishing. That is money meta. Oh, we got someone that knows Chinese here. Okay, was I right in the translation? I'm not just making this up. Mr. or Mrs. Zhang, can you say that? Yes, I'm not just making it up. I'm pretty sure. So there's a good American Chinese comedian who does a whole piece on this who people can look up, but it's far too un-PC for me to share. Good. Everyone take a deep breath. You've now healed your money trauma. You can now be on a boat with rappers. It'll be fine. And people waved past. You were like, hope you get rich. Yeah, good. Okay, good. Takeaways. What did you learn? That was original, right? No one else is talking about this. This is like gems I'm dropping on you guys. What did you learn? Marketing can be self-care. Yeah, if you just took that away, I'd be real happy. Juicy stuff. It was juicy. Virginia, I think this was a good one. Can you tell the minions to put it on YouTube? I think it'd be a really original one to stick up. We could even make this a podcast, actually. Mm, good. Narcissism in teachers, yes, a little bit, a little bit. My therapist the other day said, you've done very well, Mark, at integrating your narcissism since the embodiment conference. I was like, fuck you. But yeah, you're right. Mm. How one can abuse myself? By not doing it. Okay. The other one people abuse themselves with work is just by treating themselves like as a machine and working too hard. Like I've got a bit of a cold and I'm dealing with a few personal things. And I worked 12 hours yesterday. And my girlfriend at the end of the day was like, you look tired. And she was like, I wonder why. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I had a much more relaxed day at the hospital today. You know, when you overwork as part of your trauma pattern because you're at the hospital going, this is such a chill holiday, just sitting around. I was like, this is great. Like, I was really friendly with the doctors and nurses. Like, look, took my blood. Just to prove I'm not. Can you see that? There's a little plaster on there. So, took my blood. Yeah, and I was like, this is great. Just joking. I was like, this is so nice having a day off work. So one another trauma pattern can be like overwork, but for a lot of people, it's just not doing any marketing to not look after themselves. Yeah, like I don't deserve it, so I'm not going to do it. Or it's too scary because the world's unsafe. I don't want to be seen. Marketing, you have to be seen. There's a vulnerability to marketing to be seen. There's a vulnerability to say, I have something that's worth you paying $9,000 for. Yeah. Or in the case of our courses, $500. Oh my God, far too cheap. Yeah. There's a vulnerability in that. Yeah. Marketing that serves everyone, right? The win-win-win. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'd say if you were just wishing money, it would be a problem, right? But if another part of the year you say, I wish you health and happiness, I wish you, lots of children and fertility, like if it was just money, then it would be out of whack, right? But I think of it like with money, it's like sex. You could be sex obsessed, or you could be pretending sex doesn't exist. It's like, what's the healthiest attitude towards sex? I'd say it's, unless you're a monk, it's saying, you know what, this is part of life. I'd like to have nice sex. It's not everything, but it is something. It's part of being human. And the same with money, right? Can we be, they call it right sized in 12-step groups about things, right sized, not being kind of anorexic or bulimic around it. Um, Good questions. Other than, how do I sign up for your awesome trauma course? It sounds so original and cool. Let me just drink some vitamin C water for my cold.
Just to
Yeah.
entice.
Yes, this is what people can look at. Maybe have a quick scroll, all the different things on there, the different classes. It's also about avoiding burnout, which I think, and just being trauma enhanced, not just trauma informed. And like I was so quick yesterday, I was far too quick. And then, like in the course, we can slow it down, and you'll ask plenty of questions and digest it. Yeah. Red flags, all about the red flags. Okay. Any questions on trauma and marketing today? Yeah, maybe hope it gets maybe Naropa, but what if it was? Would that be okay? Right? Would that be okay? If it said, I help you, I hope you get filthy rich. Like would that really be okay? I'm tripping with billionaires in Austin in 2 weeks' time. That'll be interesting. Uh mm, mm, mm. So discounts can be okay, right? Like it's okay to give discounts. We give discounts sometimes. Um, if you feel like you have to give everyone a discount, that would be a problem, I would say. And if you're using it just in a very, manipulative, unpleasant, inauthentic way, then that can be a problem, right? So, but there's nothing in and of itself wrong with discounts. You associate marketing with administration. Okay. I don't know. I mean, is it trauma related? Does it feel like an existential block to stay safe, or is it just you're a lazy ass? Yeah. Is it just you haven't got around to it and there's other things you'd rather do? Okay. For a lot of people, there is this weird block with it. Did you ever have writer's block? Sometimes when I'm writing a book, I've written several books, you can get really stuck and it's so psychological. It's not really that you don't have time or energy for writing, right? It can be like that with marketing. For a lot of people, I think they think marketing is bad on some level, and that feeling of sort of dirtiness means they don't do it. The other one is like, can you make it a bit more fun? Like my podcast is part of my marketing, right? My Instagram 1 minute coaching reels. If you haven't seen them, they're amazing. Share a link, Virginia. If you haven't seen the Instagram or the YouTube or the podcast, that's all stuff I enjoy. Like I enjoy making YouTube videos. I enjoy making the little 1 minute coaching reels. We do them really quickly on workshops. It's fine. It's not, it's just fun. It's a good challenge. And the podcast I love, like talking in depth about embodiment with interesting people. That's all marketing. Yeah. There's other stuff I like less. I try and outsource, but if you can make things creative and enjoyable. Any other questions? Any thoughts on how marketing can be tricky if you offer services that are not concrete? Okay. Cheryl, so you should not be selling something which you're not confident has a result. So that's called snake oil, right? So if I go to a massage, she's pretty confident she's going to relax me. Right? So she takes my money without any guilt. Yeah. If I teach you, if you say, hey, I want to learn body coaching tools, come to Keck, I'm pretty confident you'll learn. Yeah. Unless you just don't do any work. Yeah. Like you'll learn. So can I guarantee that? No. I mean, it's possible I go to the masseuse and I'm just like, rah, 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 I have a really nasty time. But generally, we should be confident that we're taking people's money for a result, for a good reason. And I'd say if we can't do that, we're out of integrity. So make sure you're selling something which is at least likely to get a good result for them. I think it makes sense, right? People say they're nervous to sell. Why? Like that would be me saying I'm nervous to make love to my girlfriend. It's like, well, no, I've got a good result in that. This is a good analogy in that department for multiple times. So it's like, why would I be nervous about that? I don't know. Does that work as an analogy? Maybe not. Maybe it's too personal. Let's leave it. Okay. Do you see what I mean, though, right? Yeah, no one selling you an apple is nervous. They're just like, here's an apple. It tastes nice. You put it in your mouth. It makes you less hungry. They're like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. Mm, any tips on how to market coaching if one does another job efficiently? Is the question. Is the answer. Number two, how to your marketing team needs to be better if you do another job to be efficient, right? One funnel, one way of capturing email, one product, one niche. There's loads. I mean, I mentor people for 2 years to work that out, right? It takes about 2 years to work that out, not 2 minutes. But there's the quick answer. How to market coaching if one isn't attracted to some particular niche or coaching style. You probably are, because there are probably people that you prefer working with. So even if it's not, usually a niche is at least certain types of people. Like, do you want to work with assholes? Probably not. Okay, so we're already in a niching process. Yeah, there is someone that you're very good at working with, that you like working with. Look up Tad Hargrave stuff on niching. He does whole courses on this. It's not something I'm going to be able to say in 2 minutes. Uh, mm, yeah, chill, but bad for charging people for work. Why? You're helping them. You haven't, like, again, I'd say this is like self-esteem stuff, right? Like, do you deserve to pay your rent? Yeah. Like, clearly, we don't live in a perfect world where you can do everything for free. I mean, partly for me, I like to give a lot away and charge a lot, right? So my coaching, for example, is quite expensive, but we do loads of free stuff. Like, you could like buy that for 20 quid. That's almost free. And like, or you could do Keck for 1,000, So it's like, I think having layers of things helps in that sense, because then I go, well, if people are totally broke, they can do a free summit, or look at my stuff that's free on YouTube, listen to 600 podcasts for free. So that helps. But I think the key thing here is understanding that it isn't a self-esteem issue. It's like, what I do has value, and it's okay to charge for it. Yeah. Good question. Any questions on Jim, thank you. Yeah, basically Jim's asking me, how do I do marketing right? This is a big question. It's a skill. Like any skill, you get better at it. I've gone from terrible to okay. I wouldn't say I was brilliant at it, but I'm okay at it now. I didn't come from a business family or anything like that. I learned all this on the job. Do loads of experiments for sure. People think it's more like riding a bike than firing a missile. So it's not like a missile that you go, right, I've got to work out all the coordinates ahead of time. It's more like you get on the bike and you start riding and you go left a bit, right a bit. And Virginia will tell you this, right? Like, we have things that work really well, and we'll have a Facebook ad and it'll do terribly. So we'll try another one. And then, Instagram's been doing well. So we'll pump that. And then it's like you're gradually learning different things. What do I enjoy? What can I outsource? What's economical? Like that people pleasing book, we run a Facebook ad and it's like 80 cents per sign up, which is really economical, right? So it's like, okay, that's really great. With thousands of people are coming in through that ad. It's scalable. Once the ad's set up, we just let it roll. So it's not taking loads of time. I quite enjoyed making the ebook. Yeah, I basically just talked at a workshop for a few hours, and then Clever Mirror came along and turned it into an ebook using AI. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that was easy. I just spent a couple of hours checking it. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you got to try different things. You got to get training. It's not a one-shot deal. But you're asking the right questions. It's like, how do I learn? How do I get better? How do I figure out what works and what doesn't? So good luck, sir. I mean, definitely having a mentoring group helps, because people bounce off each other and I hold my mentees accountable. And, every Tuesday and Wednesday, people are there and they're learning from different teachers like Tad and George Cal, who I also recommend. And, having that peer support and accountability, like all that stuff's like way helpful, way helpful. Okay, so big question. Doing too many things, trying to please all the people. Yeah, you generally can only get a reputation for one thing. Okay, mine was womanizing. Now it's embodiment coaching. You see, things can improve over the time as you grow up. Yes, true story. So yes, it's very hard to get multiple reputations. Imagine if someone said, hey, there's this really good shop and it's a hairdresser and a butcher's. Like, they probably wouldn't get a good reputation, and they probably shouldn't combine those things. So particularly with the internet, you can get very, very I didn't imagine I would have a career from embodiment coaching. I thought it's too specialist. I used to do all sorts of things, stress management, leadership, all these other things. Most of my work is on that. Yeah, most of my work is basically trauma stuff, which has been more like a hobby because I've done a lot of it for free, and embodiment coaching. They're the two things. I'm trying to do a third one. Even that's hard, even with a team. You know, so if you don't have a team, try not to do too many things. Yeah. Yeah, nothing on this specific topic. Thank you, Chanel. Yeah, it's pretty original, right? Pretty original because most hippies won't touch this stuff. Again, it's some of the problem with if all of trauma people are all on the sort of far left, they're not going to be very good at marketing, are they? Yeah, so this is why we need a bit more actual diversity in the trauma world. Yeah, diversity of opinions, of cultures, not just far left Americans. We need like far more spread of types of people talking about different types of topic. Yeah. Especially when they've got big guns like this. There we go. I think that's a good end to the trauma workshop. Good. Okay, so if you want to come look at these triceps, if you want to come and look at these triceps regularly or study trauma superpowers with us, don't know where that came from, guys. Don't know where that came from. Probably from being in hospital and feeling weak and vulnerable all day. So I repressed my hardcore masculine side. Anyway, so if you want to come study trauma superpowers with us, it'll be a good course. You'll learn a shitload. It's not that expensive. Have a look at that. If you do want to do the whole, like the big thing, embodied coaching, the sort of wider picture of what we do, you don't have time right now. That starts in February and you can get the best price right now. It's an amazing course. Everybody says so. 80% of people who start it finish it, and you can just learn practical embodied coaching with dick jokes. So there you go. All the things. Good. All good. New people, do you get okay with that? New people, not too shocking. I can see a lot of old school people, but new people doing okay. Lisa looks like she's in the coolest place. Someone's like locked her in the princess's clothes cupboard. I don't know where she is. She's gonna win best dresses hanging up award. Natalie has best art on the wall. So I'm just gonna give you some awards. Okay. Yana, most fun daughter. Nice to see that. Jeffrey, best beard today. Always a pleasure. Who else have we got? Just going to dish out some awards. You have to have your camera on to win an award. I want to see how you're doing. Okay, Martin, nice hanging pot plant, best hanging pot plant there. Joe, best putting your camera on and laughing at something. That's, these are all your awards. So good. Virginia, any final things? Tomorrow, right? Some things tomorrow.
There's a 9 a.m. and a 6 p.m. tomorrow, so come along for that. It will be good.
What are we doing? What are the topics? I want to make sure I know it's me teaching, right? I've got a big day tomorrow. I'm doing one for boundaries. Boundaries. We're doing boundaries tomorrow.
Easy.
And one on trauma superpowers. Okay. All right, good. Let's do one more making it rain. Okay. You're on the yacht. You're surrounded by models, male or female, take pick. Okay. You're on the and you're just like, what? Just doing that. Yeah. Making it rain on everyone. Nice one, guys. Have a good session. Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.